April 1975, what were you doing? Come on, be honest. This was a major televisual event that changed the landscape of, well, action-packed TV drama because it starred quite a plethora of big names. Well, they weren't big names at the time, but they became household names. As ever, do you know what I'm talking about? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. That's right, April 1975. Cast your mind back. Seems decades ago. It is. Don't add up the years. I know, I can see it now. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, it's too far, isn't it? But obviously, on that particular period, a US TV drama, action packed, changed the landscape of Saturday nights, particularly over here in the United Kingdom. It was the place that really just not just changed, for the characters, but everybody wanted the famous car. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh yes, the brilliant Starsky and Hutch. Now, according to new reports in all the major trade magazines, Starsky and Hutch is going to be making a comeback. Yes, in 2023. They've moved the story along and no doubt it'll be full of woke characters. But I've been lucky enough, as ever in my career, to meet all the major players of that brilliant TV series. And as I say, as a very young boy, everybody wanted the car. The red car with the white stripe. It went for quite a bit of money in the toy shops at Christmas, but it wasn't the sort of thing you could just pick up, because they were selling out. Now, it's interesting because I was speaking to Paul Michael Glazer, who played Starsky, and Hutch, David Soul. Now, David Soul actually lives quite near me in Paddington in West London. Often see him wandering around, nice fella. Can you remember, by the way, that he also had a very successful pop career? Do you remember that? Yes, Don't Give Up on Us, Going In With My Eyes Wide Open, written by Tony Macaulay, and the brilliant Silver Lady. Huge, huge pop career over here in the United Kingdom. And then they had all of that series success with Starsky and Hutch. I met Paul Michael Glazer the last time, you're looking at him here, with a picture when he had a beard. He was playing Topol at the Theatre Royal in Nottingham in Fiddler on the Roof. They both had sort of mixed reactions to their time on the show, because obviously it was a huge, huge success for Aaron Spelling and Leonard Goldberg. Now, remember Huggy Bear also? You do, don't you? Now, I met Huggy Bear at Yorkshire Television many years ago. He came in as a guest. He was everything that you could imagine, He played the kind of like bad boy, didn't he, with a twinge of good fun, And it's interesting because, as I say, David Soul and Paul Michael Glazer have reached out and said that they would consider at least to be part of the franchise, even if they're just playing elder statesmen in the series. David Soul famously said recently that, it would make sense. After all, who knows the characters better than those two? Now, as you know, it also went on to be a big screen success, not starring them. They had cameos in that, I think in the early noughties. But what I wanted to share with you was, what were your memories of Starsky and Hutch? Was it a big success in your household? Over here in the United Kingdom, it was the most talked about TV show. I mean, truly was. And do you remember the country singer Lynn Anderson appearing as a guest star also? Allegedly, that role was down for Dolly Parton, but for some reason, it went to Lynn in the end. As I say, David Soul, Paul Michael Glazer, Antonio Fargas, brilliant guys, brilliant fun, to deal with. But they did say that they think they should come back. As I say, Antonio Fangaris and David Soul, Paul Michael Glazer. Now, do you know that Paul Michael Glazer got his very big break in another long-running historical series, The Waltons? Oh yes, Jim Bob and all of the characters. Now, The Waltons, he says, was the big break for him. He managed to get an episode and that changed everything. Lots of people saw him in that particular show, and that was part of the reason why he ended up being cast in such successful Starsky and Hutch. Is it always good, though, to revisit programs like that? Should they be left in the past? Are we happy with reruns? Should, of course, David Soul and Paul Michael Glazer once again be featured? Or would you think, as I say, that perhaps it's now time for new blood? And more importantly, boys and girls out there, because we're all still young, will you be watching it this time around? As ever, do let me know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. And yes, if you can name the... And yes, if you can name the car in the comments, there could be a prize. Well, yes, a wave. Yeah, we're tight here, I'm an all there. You get the picture. Neil Sean bringing you all the latest showbiz news.